chose Galen because of its strong reputation.
Great scholarships.
I came because I can take all my classes online.
Because Galen University opens doors to the outside world.
Their course offering in tourism.
It gives me more opportunity to become who I want to be.
If you want to connect with your inner champion to make the world a better place, then Galen is right for you.
Did you know that your Sagicor advisor can help you plan how to make your golden years your best years? Call a Sagicor agent today.
I had a really good time tonight.
So did I.
Life moves fast. Be prepared with Sagicor. Learn more at sagicorlife.com.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Matters. With 39 years of experience in the financial sector, our guest has managed to excel and has received regional-wide recognition for her work. Our guest today is Mrs. Sandra McKay, who has worked within the banking sector and most notably the insurance sector. She was the manager of Guardian Life Limited in Belize and has served on the board of the Caribbean Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. Aside from her time in the financial sector, she's a member of the Rotary Club of Belize and has acted in various capacities. Mrs. McKay ensures that she makes time for herself through performing, her family, and for God. She believes that in all of life's circumstances, you can choose life or death. You can choose victory or defeat. You can choose to succeed or not. Mrs. McKay, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Rhonda. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for volunteering yourself this morning. I have to say, that every time you come, we think that, or people may think, I know enough about Sandra McKay. But today, they are in for a surprise. Because every time we talk to you, we learn a little bit more about you. And we keep talking to you because you have a lot to share. So I say thank you for stopping and sharing with us this morning. For people to have a better idea of who you are, I would like to learn a little bit about where you came from. Where did you grow up and where did you go to school?
Okay. Well, I grew up I know one police officer said, stop saying south side, but I know when I say that, people can identify. So I did grow up on the south side of the city. Between Cemetery Road and Vernon Street, there's a little street called Wood Street. And that's where I grew up. My dad was a self-made businessman, along with my mom as his partner by his side to run the business. And we grew up on that little street. And from primary school to high school, and even into sixth form and in the workforce, that's where I grew up. And had very strict parents, disciplinarians, but I must say that along with the disciplining that they gave, there was a lot of affirmation. So I grew up very confident and comfortable that I am able to achieve whatever I set my mind and my heart to. And I'm thankful for that because it has helped me to really not be afraid of venturing into new things and, reaching out in boldness to make a difference, and whatever life throws my way that requires a little more than would ordinarily be expected of someone. I find myself not afraid to rise to the challenge. And I really owe that to my parents. And I give God thanks for that.
Did you have siblings?
I do. As a matter of fact, I grew up in a household of 4, 3 boys, 1 girl. So that tells you I was a tomboy. Oh yes, I mean, even riding my bicycle to school, people used to say, wow, you don't ride like a girl and you ride so fast and whatever it is, because whatever the boys do, that's what I see, that's what I do. And I remember one time long after, I was well into my adult years, a brother from my church had a reason to ask for a ride, and we knew each other for many years. He never rode with me. And I dropped him where he wanted to go, and when we got there, he said, I have to tell you something. I said, what is it? You do not drive like a lady. I took it as a compliment, Rhonda.
You have to. You definitely have to. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yes, I I have two brothers alive living in Florida. I love them dearly. We are so very close. Anything happens to one of us, the other is right there at the side to make sure we support and encourage and get each other through the rough times in life. So we were brought up to be very close and to look after each other.
Who do you think had the most influence on your life, your mother or your father?
I honestly have to say both. However, my dad was the more vocal one when it came to some of those affirmations. Mom showed it in all her actions. But Dad said, Sandra, there's no such word as can't. You can do it. Whatever it is that needs to get done, you can do it. So I remember that from my dad. And he also told me that, you're a very willing person. And I like that about you because he could call on me, Mom could call on me for whatever. And it gave me joy to be there, to do what needed to be done, and I didn't do it for the praise. I just did it because that's me. And so he really spent a lot of time, helping me to understand who I was and really helping me to come into my own as an adult. In my academic education years, he was right there making sure, I was on top of my game, I was doing what I should be doing, and that I was going after the best that I could in my academic studies. I must say I didn't always live up to his standards, but I gave it my all, and it seemed to turn out okay. So that was my dad.
Well, great. When you were little, what were your dreams? What did you want to be, or did you even think about it?
I have this friend. She's living in California, and she came home recently after 30 years. And we used to sit down as children. She lived right behind our home. Their home was right behind ours. And we used to sit down and chat, she and I, and we would talk about the dreams and the goals that we had. And if you could hear those little conversations, I just had this perfect life in mind. What we would grow up to be, the fact that we would get married, we would have children, and the relationships would be so good, and things that we just thought, this is what we want, and this is what we will go after, and we will make a difference. Lo and behold, as I think is the story of each of our lives, things didn't quite turn out the way we planned it. But by the grace of God, He gets us back on track, and He picks us up and helps us to dust off ourselves and to know that it's okay to try again and still go after your dreams and still know that you can have the best that there is to have. Just keep the dream alive.
Your life looks like it turned out pretty well. But what is one of those things that you wanted to be? I've interviewed the Attorney General, and he wanted to be the Pepitos man, and he wanted to be a taxi man. Those were the two big things that he wanted to be when he was a boy. What was some of the things that you wanted to be?
The truth of the matter is, I didn't have any specific thing that I wanted. As a matter of fact, in our years at high school, we either chose the commercial course of study or the academic. That's what they called it back then. I know it has changed to so many different names now. But I was in the academic stream. So to speak, you could kind of pick and choose. I chose to study business at sixth form. And I think a lot of what made me do that was observing my mom and my dad. Because like I said, he was a self-made businessman, and Mom was right there at his side. And I looked at there, what I didn't realize was work ethics. And I said, but I can do that. There wasn't a day that they would not get up early and make sure that everything was organized, that breakfast was organized, the workman was dispatched, and he had an option, my dad, to sleep late if he wanted to take a day off if he wanted to. He was his own boss. But I did not see that, not even one day. My mom, the very same. She was right there getting the office open, getting the office staff sorted out, and doing the paperwork and so on. And I think that helped me to choose the business stream. I had a friend, and she migrated at school, a schoolmate. She migrated to Florida. And she said to me, Sandra, you should be a lawyer. And she pointed out my strength in my academic grades and so on, and the subjects that stood out. And she said, come to Florida. Come and study law with me. So you and I can open a firm. Well, can I tell you? she went on to be a lawyer. But that was not my calling. I knew that because I knew the kind of reading, the volume of reading it would take, and that wasn't me. I love reading, yeah, but not for a living. And so even though she pointed that out to me, I still gravitated to the business stream. And even as life unfolded, and I know you'll get to that a little later, I can see why I was very attracted to that. It's like I saw myself in what my dad was doing, what my parents were doing, and I wanted to do likewise. So it wasn't as if I picked it and said, that's what I'm going after, but I admired it. And by default, maybe, I just followed suit.
When you left high school, what was the first thing you did?
After high school, it was on to sixth form. I didn't have a choice. My dad was very, very keen on making sure that whatever I wanted to achieve, I would. And I can tell you that what happened as I got ready to graduate from sixth form was that my dad was the one who went and sourced all the application forms for universities in the US. Now, remember, this was happening at a time when very few Belizeans were able to go and study overseas because of the cost. But my dad worked very hard, and he knew some of the things he wanted, and that was one of them. His daughter was going to head straight off to university. Wouldn't you know it, Rhonda? Two things happened. The bank, Barclays Bank, used to come to the sixth form and harvest, I call it, harvest into the banking stream. And my best friend at sixth form, she was a year ahead of me. We met at sixth form and just hit it off. She went with the harvesting in her year to work at the bank. And in my year, the bank comes at us again, and they selected, I guess they spoke with the dean, and we were recommended. And I went to work at Barclays Bank. But that was like up my alley, because the man that is my husband now took me to my fourth form prom, and I didn't want to go to any university and leave him. We fell in love.
Oh, wow.
I bet you didn't know that. So it was very convenient for me to take up Barclays Bank on the offer because my heart was in Belize. So further studies came in alternative ways, through the exams in the industries that I worked in. And that's how it unfolded pretty much.
And I want to stay there for a few more minutes, if I may, because a lot of people the man that they went to high school prom with, some people don't remember their names, they don't know where they are. They definitely would not say, if I have to go to university or stay for Tom Jones will have to wait until I get back. Or he will have to come along with me. What was that decision like for you?
Tell you see what you just said about how people feel after the person takes them to prom. I felt that same way. I didn't really know him. I was afraid that I would pass him on the street and not say hi because I really didn't know him. I just wanted somebody to take me to the prom. And I had zero interest. So the interest did not happen right away, as a matter of, not for me anyway. But I must say that man was persistent. And so that decision to really stay in Belize and so on, it happened because of what unfolded and evolved after months and months of my friends and I dodging from him, running from him, but him staying persistent. And so we realized that we wanted to get to know each other and fell in love. The decision to not go, what was it like? For me at the time, it wasn't hard. Dad said to complete the documents for university. I said, okay, but I delayed. And every time he asked me, I said, I'm going to complete them. And I purposely did not push because I really didn't want to go. And so when the whole drive from the bank came to harvest some of us, it really just suited me fine because I didn't send out the papers yet. Although he still wanted me to get into that mode of, straight from sixth form to California, to USC. Those were the documents he sent for the University of Southern California. And so I just put them aside and I said, well, Dad, I have a chance to work. I have a job. And he was okay with it. He said, still fill them out and you can still go. And I think after a while, he probably realized I was not going to fill out those forms and I was not interested. I must tell you, if I could fast forward though, that I regretted that now, not because of not accomplishing, because I've accomplished and I have my designation in the industry and all of that. But I can only imagine how sad my father was, and I didn't know that then. He has passed away since, right? But when I look back at it, I said it's amazing the way parents have plans for you. And if somehow you are not on that same page, we have no idea what we put our parents through, because that was his dream. And it didn't happen the way he had it planned. So I can't say I'm glad, although it's my husband and a wonderful husband now. But I can only imagine how it made my parents feel. And I feel bad for them in hindsight. But life has been good to me, and I give God thanks for all the accomplishments along my journey that I got because of the foundation they laid. I always told people that I have never had the challenge of applying for a job. Like I said, the bank came at me. And then the story evolved where while I was in banking, the insurance industry came at me. Took me 3 years to make a decision to leave banking and transition over to the insurance industry. And even while in the industry, opportunities came that I did not look for. But like in joining Guardian Life of Jamaica, they sent people over and over from Jamaica to talk to me. And I said, I am not coming to your company. So please interview other people while you're in Belize, because I'm not going to go. But the point I am making is that there was something that they saw, they wanted Sandra McKay. And it happened so many times in my life that I can only give God thanks and give thanks for the parenting that I had, because I don't know what they saw. They knew. They are the ones who pursued. And I have no regrets about the whole journey as it unfolded. So I really have a lot to be thankful for in the kind of nurturing, supporting, affirming, and everything that I got growing up. And I know a lot of people don't have it, but I give God thanks for it. I try my best to do the same for others, whether they're my family or not.
Mrs. McKay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about your life in the banking industry and in the insurance industry. But we will also touch on how you stay on your path. What keeps Sandra McKay whole? We're going to take a break and be back.
Me and my Marie shops in Inland Lake.
Me and my Marie Sharp in Indiana.
I'm in Rhonda Beach, California with my Marie Sharp.
Me and my Marie Shops in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Me and my Marie Shop that are Hertfordshire, England.
Me and my Marie Sharps in Taipei, Taiwan.
Marie Sharp, world-class products produced in Belize.
New Buildings Limited is the company of choice when it comes to design, fabricating and erection of wide-span metal buildings in Belize. At New Buildings, we have a team of well-trained professionals that can produce the most innovative and durable metal structures. Be it domestic or industrial buildings, we can get it done for you. We have put together some of the most outstanding metal structures in the country. We also do estimates and consulting. Visit New Buildings in Spanish Lookout or give them a call at 631-8723 or 610-5185. New Buildings Limited, the experts when it comes to metal structures in Belize.
At NextGen, we work for you. Because despite you not being able to be together, we can keep you connected, united, talking to each other, seeing each other, communicating with each other. Stay connected with NextGen.
NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
It's me, your Uncle Cooper, and this is a Cooper tire. Great tire. Now, it's not going to cook you a pot roast, but it will stop when you hit the brakes. And these truck tires can stop on average 10 feet shorter than other tires on a wet road. See, the trick is in the grip, and these tires grip like my handshake. Look, I'm your uncle. I love you. I want you to stop when you need to. Doesn't matter if it's for a red light or a duckling. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! And never start something you can't stop.
Did you know that it's best to keep the lumber stored in a dry place?
At KT Enterprises, all our wood is stored in an enclosed space to provide our clients with the highest quality.
We allow you to personally select your lumber if you choose, and we deliver countrywide.
Be it deckboard, beams, and imported hardwoods such as red oak and white ash. At KT Enterprises, we provide you with the highest grade in treated pine, construction grade plywood, and imported hardwood, delivered to your door.
We continue to build Belize by reforesting its pine forest. Visit us today at 2.3 miles Iguana Creek Road or give us a call at 671-0114 or 672-0114.
Welcome back to Morning Matters. Mrs. Sandra McKay in with us this morning. Mrs. McKay, welcome back. Well, we will start where you left off, where all of these amazing institutions came looking for you. They came looking for the prize. That's what we do when we see a prize. We look for it, you know, and we try to capture it and we try to keep it. But what is the biggest difference that you notice working in the banking industry and then working in the insurance industry?
Okay, that's pretty easy because in working in banking, one of the things that any banker will tell you, it is extremely confining. We had many days when we walk into that office before 8 in the morning, and there was no telling what time we will be leaving. And there were many nights that we were leaving 8, 9, 10 o'clock, even up to midnight that time. It was a manual system that I worked under, and you know, you had the adding machine, and you had the manual posting of the ledgers of clients' accounts, of the bank customers' accounts. And if you were off by 1 cent, we have to balance before we go home.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, those were some interesting years. My banking years, though, I can say that I have absolutely no regrets of what it taught me. But as you ask, what is the single largest difference versus the confinement? As I moved through the banking system, they had a system when I was in banking of, I think Barclays, of promotions in grades. So you would move up to a grade C, a grade B, and then a grade, and then I shouldn't say grade. It was let's call it a grade C, but B was called a signatory, and A was called a signatory. And there was a supervisory level promotion just before C as well. And again, I tried to just give my best. I don't claim to be the best banker I was, but the promotions kept coming. And that's why I said discipline as a child and learning, you know, respect, learning to order your life and have good work ethic, turn up, do what you need to do. You don't have to look for promotions. It just happened. I had to get outside of the bank and go and inspect branches. Every time I got a chance to do that, I was alive. I felt it. I just knew. I said, oh my gosh, I want to do something that is outside, not all the time inside. I love this. I love getting out. I love interacting with people and a different group here and a different group there. So whenever the manager from Barclays Belmopan or Barclays Sangriga or wherever went on leave, guess whose role it was to fill their post? Sandra McKay. And I realized that this is what I love. And lo and behold, while I was doing that role, somebody, they say when they let you out and people see you, somebody spotted me and said, she looks like she would do good in the insurance business. Approached me and asked me. And that started a conversation that I said, as I said, spanned 3 years. 3 years of coaching me to come, leave banking and come. And that was the biggest difference, the non-confinement versus the confinement, because I'm a people person. And so while I was in the confinement of the bank, I still enjoyed the customers. It was my pleasure to make somebody's day, to just give service that was above and beyond what they were asking for. And as a result, I mean, things weren't perfect, but I'm highlighting the things that stand out. I got letters written to the bank by clients about how much they enjoyed my service. And I'm like, oh, this feels really good. I like that, but I did not like the confinement. So one of the considerations to move into insurance was you're always out. You're always either visiting someone's office or sometimes people come to your office as well, but most of the time we are out seeing clients. You go to the district, you go to the field. I never got to know my country the way I did in the insurance industry because you're all over the country seeing clients and building your niche in different pockets of the working community.
What is the area of insurance that you enjoyed the most?
All right. One of the things that I must say here is that, and my boss told me when I eventually convinced her that I am leaving Barclays. Mr. Silver was the manager, and he said, okay, Sandra, if you really decide that you're going, you have to respect that. He said, and I'll tell you, he was from Barbados, and he said, I did have a friend who left banking in Barbados and went into insurance. And it is a good transition. He didn't tell me that all the while. He was, hoping I wouldn't be. He said, but it's a good transition because it's a financial services industry. And a lot of what you learn, you're going to apply with insurance as well. And true to form. And so it was a smooth transition for me because all the financial background that I had from banking, just like you said, it was easy to understand the principles of, how you function in insurance, or you project for a client, or you help them to understand what they're looking at in the numbers and how it can have meaning for them. It made it easy. And that, I think, is the part that I like. I like being authentic. And when I can share with you something that I know is going to benefit you it's going to benefit you, and you'll be better off for making that decision. I took great pleasure in the life insurance part of the business, where you dialogue with somebody. It's a conversation, it's a consultation. And so like a lawyer, you're asking questions because you're trying to lead people to the end result. And it's an end result that you know will impact their lives for the better. So I love doing that. And whether the client or the prospective client bought or not wasn't the important thing for me. The important thing was just to give that service. And 9 out of 10 times I would hear, wow, nobody has ever showed it to me like this before. And I would ask her, what do you mean? And most of the times people would say, well, persons mostly come and say, well, I have this policy and it's good. And you want it, I think you could have spent about $50 or about $100. So the process was not consultative in those examples given. But ours was, thankfully, the companies I worked for, that's how we were trained. And so with the banking background and the trading in the insurance industry, we got to be like a consultant with people about their finances and helping them to see how they can have some certainty and guarantees in areas that most of us will encounter in our journey through life. I love that. And I love it up to today. Because even though I exited a few years ago in the mainstream industry and I run my own company, I still do insurance. And it's a passion, it's a pleasure to help somebody to just understand. And then beyond the step of the understanding, to help them implement it in so too. I love it. And I think I will always like that because it's making a difference in the lives of people.
Do you feel that Belizeans generally have an interest in insuring themselves and their assets?
Not at all. It's not a general interest. And I hope that in my lifetime I can see a shift in that, because all it takes is educating. All it takes is educating. And as an insurance industry, we have spoken about that for all the years I have been in the industry, which, by the way, this year makes 25 years of offering insurance services to the Belizean public. It was 13 years in banking, now 25 in insurance. And Generally speaking, people are not interested. However, if you can have the conversation and treat it as a consultation where they get to be a part of the dialogue, asking their questions, you asking them, and them coming to an understanding, people are always wow. I always remember Mark Galatigas' story when I sat with him. Mark said, Sandra, I really appreciate you. And Mark was in the industry, but he was on the property and auto side of the insurance business. So I helped him with life insurance, and he said, I would feel like a fool if I didn't buy from you. It's the first time I've heard that one. But what he was saying was, this makes so much sense. It's so logical, it's so clear, it makes sense. I mean, when you look at life insurance and what it can do, for what you put out, the guarantees and the numbers that you have coming back to you, nothing else can do that for you. No bank account can't do that for you. No investment in time deposits or treasury bills or anything in terms of the return. Why? The concept of insurance is a whole tooling, and that's why we're able to do that. That's another conversation.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to stay here a little bit because I think it has value. I think that, especially in our society, a lot of people are not included in the conversations and they're not included in the opportunities. It could be for various reasons. It could be because they don't have finance. It could be because they don't have education and or exposure to the possibility and what is available. What do you think can be done to make it more inclusive for all?
All right. It comes back onto the same thing, more educating. As an industry, we've said we should really even start articles in the newspaper or start a distribution channel through a magazine and newsletter just to give information. Talk to whatever it takes to just talk about what the product is and what it does, what the benefits are to people and why it is prudent to do it. Even as you mentioned, people thinking they don't have enough money, they can't afford it. A big part of what we talk about is budgeting. And when you decide to live by a budget, nothing has to be out of your reach because it is looking at all that you have. Right? I don't have more than that, so I can't do more than that. A part of the service that we offer takes you through the budgeting exercise and how much control it gives you over your life. And so we have spoken to persons who earn, let's just do a comparison here. Let's say I'm talking to somebody who earns $2,000 per month or $1,500 per month, and talking to somebody who earns $8,000 per month in another conversation. And I can tell you that it is possible for the person with that $2,000 per month to have more guarantees in place than the person with the $8,000 per month, because the $2,000 per month has decided to live by the budget. And whatever they allocate into financial planning, it's just for today, because ours is a process in the insurance industry of annual or periodic reviews. So when you sit with an advisor and do a review, it's your opportunity to look at the fact that you perhaps got an increment in the last couple of years, perhaps finish paying off some debt, room is made in your disposable income, and now you can upgrade. And then you come another year or two later, and you repeat that process. And you come another year or two later, and you repeat that process. So that person has moved from earning $2,000 per month and is now earning perhaps $3,500 per month as they move into their more senior years in the workforce. And when you look at their financial plan, it is solid, it is growing, and it is guaranteed. So you need not worry about the fact that I can't afford it because I hear somebody will pay X amount per month. That's not you. That's not your situation. Each person's situation is different. You can take control of your budget and allocate where it is needed for you to have funds to send your child to university when the time comes, funds to deal with the down payment on your home, funds to start up a business because your plan is to exit the workforce and be an entrepreneur and you want to have cash, you don't want to borrow a loan. Those are things that we help people to do. Funds are when you reach retirement age. And that person, nothing being in control of that budget, could have accomplished a solid financial foundation and growth because of the services we provide.
I don't know how your banking years were. I mean, because I did not experience you in that capacity. But I definitely have to say that you live and breathe and talk insurance. And I'm not sure if it is so much the insurance or your interest in making people's lives better, and you see that insurance can do that for them. I see you as a person that do your darnest to try and improve people's lives, and insurance does offer that opportunity for people. So we are grateful for people like you. I mean, just to segue a little, we have a program on Facebook in the evenings on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock that we talk about insurance, that we educate people. So we bring in different advisors, and because I too feel that it is important, and I think that everybody, we can't afford not to have insurance. And this show is not to sell insurance, but or this part of the show is not to sell insurance, but I also feel that this show is to try and strengthen people's lives. And you can strengthen your life through insurance. And the days of when you think that insurance is only for the rich or only for the ones that have are over. I mean, insurance is for everybody. So you eventually left insurance full-time and moved into being your own master. A part of being your own master is this project behind me. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about Sandra McKay now, what she's doing and what's next. We're going to take a break and be back.
Here at Coop Sheet Metal, we believe our job is very essential in serving our customers. And that is just one reason why visiting us is an experience to be remembered.
Here at Coop Sheet Metal, we have a reliable fleet of trucks. We specialize in countrywide delivery of all our material.
Coop Sheet Metal is a family business that was started by my grandfather, who even had many of his machines hand-built decades ago to make our products the most reliable in Belize. Come visit us at our new facility on Iguana Creek Road, just past the Belize River leading to Spanish Lookout.
I choose Happy Cow cheese because of its perfect portion sizes, and I can travel with it.
Because it's nice and soft and creamy, and it goes smooth on your bread.
I choose Happy Cow cheese because I eat it with my beans. I eat it with my fried jack. And you know why? Because it's nice.
Most of all, when you're on the plane, you know they only give you some crackers and you could just take one out and enjoy it with Happy Cow cheese.
I'm Miss Baker, and I choose Happy Cow cheese because it goes well with all the stuff I bake.
Happy Cow cheese. Look for it in a store near you. Distributed in Belize exclusively by Emilio Ahmad and Sons Limited.
I chose Galen because of its strong reputation.
Great scholarships.
I came because I can take all my classes online.
Because Galen University opens doors to the outside world.
Their course offering in tourism.
It gives me more opportunity to become who I want to be.
If you want to connect with your inner champion to make the world a better place, then Galen is right for you.
Welcome back to Morning Matters. We are still here. We are with Mrs. Sandra McKay. Mrs. McKay, welcome back. In this segment, we will talk about what you are doing now. You have started your own company, and a part of what you do is to sell real estate. You have a project called Goshen Orchids. So tell us about what you are doing and then Goshen Orchids.
When I recognized the volume of time, effort, and resources it would take to get my own business started, I had to make a decision a couple of years ago. And it is a business that has been on the table, and many of my friends will tell you, I thought I hear you talk about this thing. When are you going to start? When are you going to start? But being in a full-time workforce and launching that kind of business wasn't working out. So I exited for a while and made sure that I could establish the company. It is a family-owned company, and so we are looking at a vision that I believe God gave to us of having upscale is the best word I can find, a living environment that speaks to quality. So one of the first things that, I know you're asking what I'm doing now, but I need to go back to what transpired in getting this off the mark so I can marry it with what I'm doing now. And we realized that we wanted to bring this quality. We travel all the time. We go in the region, we go to North America, to Canada, to wherever, to Europe, and you see these lovely housing development. And I have families that live there. Every time I go, I'm like, why can't we have this in Belize? Belizeans deserve this. Why can't we have this in Belize? And so we spoke as a family and we decided we want to offer this product. Not in any way to discriminate, but just to bring a product that we believe there are persons who want it as well, but it's perhaps not a readily available offering. So, well, since that time, of course, I've seen a few persons taking along a similar path. And so I've seen a couple of developments that seem to have a similar vision as we do. But we will definitely follow through with it because it's something, as I said, that God laid on my heart. So when I exited the workforce in 2018, I said, okay, I can really give this my full-time attention because the cost T and that you need your daytime hours. And if you're working for somebody else, you can't do that. You have to give justice to who you're working for. And so that's when everything just springboarded because we started to put all the pieces together, get all the logistical pieces in place. And we had the design pretty much already. It is expected to be development that doesn't give people anything less than a quarter acre of land, which is 100 by 100. Because when you look at Belize City, too many of the lots, even where I grew up, it was, I think, something around 75 by 80 something or whatever. And you get this little piece of parcel that you could hardly even put a little garden in the backyard. And we wanted to change that in what we offer. We didn't focus on money and how much you could make if you parcel it off into little tiny lots. We looked at building quality. And so the 100 by 100 as the smallest size was deliberate. So people can have space. You could put a swimming pool if you feel so inclined and you have the economic ability to do that. You could have play areas for your children. You could plant big trees. You have space. And just to be outside with nature, it does something for our well-being. And that's what we wanted to offer. We are bordered at the back by Hector Creek, Goshen Orchid or development, and therefore we are offering canal side lots so boat owners can navigate their boats if they want to park it behind their houses, if it's within that size, and go out to the creek, you navigate into the lagoon and then to the Caribbean Sea. So we're trying to offer something that we see. I go to Florida and I see this happening. Where my brother lives, where my cousins live, we see people doing these things, and we say, well, why not believe and believe them? We have a community area for recreation so that families could just take the kids, have some fun, swim in the pool. That's a community pool that will be there, and enjoy family time, quality family time while you're living at Goshen Orchid. And then we have a commercial area reserved in the front so that businesses that are suitable to the residents as well as the general public can eventually be a part of the development in terms of they would be on the roadside, accessible to both residents and non-residents of the community. So in that description, you can hear, the kind of work I've had to go into, making sure all of that could come to fruition, because that doesn't just come to fruition because you want it. You have to put things in place to make sure. We have to go and research what we have to do in terms of a covenant agreement, research how it runs when it comes to a homeowners association, get the necessary approvals for the development that we were proposing, and get the persons in place as players that could make it all happen. So I am happy that we were able to successfully launch Goshen Arcades. It has stirred up quite a bit of interest. And as we move forward now, we expect to get into the acceleration phase. Having said that, if I could just wrap up this piece, having said, it's really not, housing development is not a business where we sit in our office and people are sleeping all day. That's not how it works. And so I never gave up insurance, although I wasn't doing the life insurance actively. I continued to do the other side, and that I was doing all my insurance years, the property, the auto, and so on, if people do with liability insurance or whatever else. And I can't sit still, Rhonda. So with time on my hands, having set the stage for all of this to now just continue, and the fact that family members are on board helping to run the ship, I am more actively also helping people to put financial plans in place. So I think I can say it's my passion.
Your hands sound full. But I want to go back to the thing that has stayed with me. I want to talk a little bit more about this project. The same way how I wanted to talk about insurance in the last segment, because I find it interesting, and I think the people that are watching would have had questions for that. I think the people that are watching would have questions for this as well. I will start to be the devil's advocate first, simply because that is just the way I have to start. A lot of people will say, even me, at one point in time, I had bought into what I envisioned to be a different development than what it turned out to be. When I bought the piece of land, I heard this area was going to be a park, and this place was going to be greenery, and the roads were going to be this way, and guess what? 20 years later, it's the same way when I bought it 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I want to know what will set Goshen Orchids from all the other developers that made these promises and continue to make these promises to its potential neighbors.
Okay, and like I said, something like this doesn't just happen because you want it to. You have to cross the T's and dot the I's. And that's why I said I took the step back to make sure we will do it right. Because like you, I have observed it. I didn't buy into any of those developments, but you see it. You see where, people were saying, well, this is what is going to go on here, and this is what is going to happen, and you don't see that happening. So even in developing the covenant, like I said, we did extensive research to make sure it fits what we are doing, not a covenant that suits somewhere else in some other part of the world or whatever. But what is it that we are promising? And so the covenant is two ways. It is holding us accountable, even as we hold residents accountable, because you cannot go outside of a signed agreement without having repercussions. All right. And so we made sure to document, apart from transferring of equity to you, you have a covenant that is in black and white, signed by both of us, and legally binding by those two signatures, that this is how it will unfold. And so a default on either side would mean, repercussions in that way. We are also, to make sure we deliver on what we promised, taking it in baby steps. So we separated the development into 4 phases. And that's why right now we are only marketing phase 1. Because I think a lot of times developers try to do too much and it gets overwhelming. They bite off more than they can chew. and then they don't deliver what was promised. We decided to avoid that. We're going to do it one small thing at a time to bring the whole picture together.
Well, good. Now that you've gotten that out of the way, and based on your history, I would say that you're an honorable woman. Anybody that knows Sandra McKay, I would believe that we associate you with honor and follow through. So I'm sure that people are not concerned about that once your name is attached to it. You've done a good job at maintaining that part of your history. Now you're a pretty decent lady. Now the big question is, how much is the smallest lot? Because you said the smallest lot is 100 by 100. What is the cost, and is there payment plans? Is it, are you financing it through the bank, or can people come to you and you finance it for them? Because these are questions that potential buyers may have.
Well, if you look at our media advertisements, we offered 40, no, let me step back before I say that. We are doing the land development as Asian Orchid. The homes that you will see in a little while, we are connecting people with reputable builders. So those homes that we will show are samples from Mitchell and Moody, very reputable company, and these are designs that they have designed and finishes that they can deliver. Ariel Mitchell and George. I mean, talk about people of honor and men of their word who deliver on what they promise. We only connect with persons like that we don't have to worry and wonder what is the quality that people will get and what is the assurance they can have that it will look just like that one that we chose. So we made sure to connect with like minds, because when we say quality, we mean quality.
What is the location?
12.5 miles on the George Price Highway.
Is it roadside access, or do you have to drive in?
It's roadside access, so you drive in off the road. Like if you pass by 12.5 miles even now, you will see that road going in. You have to drive past the commercial area that is reserved for businesses in the future, and just behind that, the residential lots connects. So it's right off the road. It's not driving all the way to the back a mile or a quarter mile or anything like that. So whilst your home might not be on the roadside because of the commercial area, it's immediately behind that.
Well, perfect. Time is definitely not on our side now, Mrs. McKay, but I also know that in all of this, you are still into the performing arts. You and a partner of yourself have Jankono Productions. And while a lot of us know a lot about that part of your life, I would like to know how COVID has affected it, because that is one of the things that we enjoyed, and we enjoyed the ability to go and sit next to our friends and have a good laugh. But now it's not the same anymore. How has COVID disrupted your joy of acting?
Disrupted it in a major way, because wouldn't you believe it? March was the month when we were really accelerating the show, the Belize Rewind show, for the schools. Because as you know, it's a historic piece, it's a cultural piece, it's factual, it's authentic. And so it serves well as an alternative means of Belizean study. Apart from the textbook, you can come and see the show and you will get the information and you won't forget it because you saw it in the acting and you remembered what this one said and so on. And so we were about to do two things. We were about to launch our next local play, and we were for about, I can't even tell you how many schools are available for March, April, May. March being the highest amount, I think, because most schools try to keep it as far away from exam time as possible. And all those shows got canceled. So those were canceled. We had to hold back on the launch of our new play, and therefore everything went from hero to zero in making all this happen, because the school shows were countrywide. We had just come back from Punta Gorda, and the kids had an exceptional time. And we do a little question and answer after the show, and it showed that they really were in tune and could be able to go back to their classroom and have the discussion for history class and please and study. But that was the last one. One after the other, we were told, have to cancel this one. But the government press office has said this, we have to cancel. And then eventually all of it was found out because we were still hopeful that they would want to do. So, but, you know, God is good. And even during COVID, I am thankful that the name of Jankuna Productions has been such a household name that we have been called upon to assist with projects that have to do with COVID.
Okay.
So as we speak, you know, we are in the throes of getting one put together to execute for an organization. As a matter of fact, more than one. And so we're thankful, although the schools and the other shows had to be put on pause. It's good to know that persons recognize Jankuna Productions as an entity that can deliver quality and a particular standard that suits them and meets their objectives. So we're still working, but not at the level that we would have been pre-COVID.
You know what? I believe that you are a woman of great faith. And they always say that God will give you more than you can carry. And whenever you think that he's breaking down something, he really could be building up something. So, I mean, it's just the life. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. And COVID has been unkind to a lot of us, but I have to say in a lot of ways, COVID has been kind to us if we're looking to see the good that come out of it. In the past, I would have had to wait for Sandra McKay to come to my office or I'll have to meet her somewhere. Now she can be home in the comfort of her home and we can have this discussion. So for that, I am grateful. It has allowed us to connect people all over the world. So again, I am grateful for that. But before I go, I have to ask, what keeps you on your path?
I have to say the cause that is bigger than me. I many years ago recognized that this life that we journeyed through was never meant to be journeyed alone. And if you don't have a cause that you're serving that's greater than you don't really have a reason to push, aspire, persevere for more. But when you know that you are serving a greater cause and it calls upon you as a person to bring your best each and every day, even when the tough times come, even when the trials come. If you don't have something like that, you might just meander through life and the situations may well get the better of you at times. But I believe that my relationship with God is the short answer to what keeps me going. Because I make it a central part of who I am. And so if you ask anything of me, it's going to come first from that source within me to be able to deliver to you the very best that I can possibly deliver. And when you look at the tough times, it helps me to stay sane when I can look to my source of encouragement, my source of upliftment, my source of comfort, my source of assurance that this too shall pass and that you can stay focused, you can still get it done because you're not alone. I believe that that is my guiding and my driving force for everything that I am involved in. And so I have long since made up my mind that I'm not going to be picking at the problems. I'm always going to be looking for the opportunities. That I'm not going to be bringing down a person because things didn't go right, but my aim is to make sure nobody has a bad day because of me. You can go ahead and have a bad day, but I try not to let it be because of me. My aim is to live my life just forgiving anybody that has ever done me anything bad and to just keep faith as my focus.
Thank you for stopping and sharing with us this morning. Anything you'd like to leave us with?
Thank you for having me. And my final words to persons would just be to, keep the faith, keep positive, be thankful, and doors will open. If you did not get the best in upbringing and you feel you've heard my story and you didn't have that, that's okay. The thing about it is the moment you make up your mind that you want that, you can start to look in the directions that can bring that kind of support, bring the kind of mentoring, bring the kind of guidance, and help you to have the tenacity and the resilience for whatever lies ahead. so that you can still achieve your dreams, you can still achieve your goals, and never give up because there's no reason to. So that's my word for today.
Mrs. McKay, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having me, Rhonda. I really appreciate it.